What is up, guys? In today's video, we are going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero Build, going over what I think they do well, what they could do differently, and just the state of the game right now. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, it is EvolvedJake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So we're surfing this game, and of the locations we got, I feel like Clausy Lodge is going to be the best one. This would be a game where having the square zone, I think, would maybe impact a lot of players is for early game. Because if you land, like, somewhere over here, like, you're not going to have that much time to loot. And you're probably not going to die to storm, but it is, like, further away than you would expect for first zone, I would think. Kill me. Thank you. Be on board with Juju. The Renegade Raider skin. Surely they are an OG Renegade Raider who started playing in 2017 and not someone who bought it when it came back last year. I don't know if I've made a spectating video on one of these square zones yet either, because it is like a fairly recent addition. So I'm interested to see how this plays. I personally really do like the square zones. I know not a lot of people do, but I feel like it forces the game to feel faster paced at all times. Because you get into those skinny rectangles where, like, you know, tip top terrace all the way to painted palms might all be in zone, but there's not much like verticality to it, so everything does feel like very clustered in close range and like fast paced. Like anybody around you is probably going to be, you know, a chaotic engagement. It kind of makes everything feel like end game even earlier on in the game. So I like these square zones for that reason. It just feels like an increase in pace, and hopefully that makes, you know, this video decent to spectate. That's always something I'm worried about, or like the biggest struggle with making these videos is just getting a game that's paced well. And like this match here, like, doesn't seem like there's going to be much happening off spawn because no one really came here. I usually just break the staircase if I get this chest, because then you don't have to break those three things. You just break one thing and you're able to get it. Unfortunately, he has no shotgun yet somehow, which is very surprising. He does have the Flex SMG, which I think is the premier kind of spray weapon at this point in time. I would like to see him use that, but he's going to go ahead and drop it for the duels. And so he's going to be using Scar and dual shotguns. The Scar did get buffed. It is significantly better than it has been for years. It's a lot more accurate, and it also got a higher headshot multiplier. So it's huge. Like, it's good, the buff it got, but I still just think the Flex SMG is far and away the best kind of spray weapon. In close range, it's a lot better than the Scar, and I feel like even in medium to long range, it's better because the Flex kind of has those two fire modes. He knows that player's here. This is like an awkward area to fight around, though. I hate being on this and trying to like mantle on the roof. This enemy is going to know he's here, though. And this is like not a good fight for the combat, I don't think. We'll see how it plays out. Might also just be an AI. But I feel like the combat shotgun does not want to have fights like this. It want to have like fights where you're just like both playing cover and kind of like chipping damage. The enemy has a combat too, so this works, I guess. But a fight where you're just like, you know, chowing somebody up close, like the dual shotguns are going to be better, or the pump is going to be better. This is not a very like dominant shotgun in that regard. It's more of like a controlled shotgun, and Juju is going to be losing this fight and going back to the lobby. I'm surprised he didn't. I like the way that fight started initially. I thought for sure he was going to lose it, but the enemy just kind of fell apart. He was like spam jumping, which I feel like made his aim worse. Like jump shotting is good, but if you're just going to be like spam jumping like that, it's often not the greatest thing to do. And they both just fought each other out in the open with no cover. Like I feel like that fight was played as bad as it could have been from like both parties there. But that's not a good situation for the combat is what I was saying. And I think if we see him play like that versus somebody who's using a pump with decent aim, or somebody who's using the dual shotguns, he's going to get sent back to the lobby. Like, it is much more of a shotgun that you want to, like, play safe and kind of play range with and just, like, chip shots down. That's why I don't really like it as a shotgun, because I want my shotgun to be something, like, dominant up close. If I'm going to be playing more mid-range like that, I could just use the Flex SMG for that. Or the Scar, even, or the Hollow SMG. Like, there's just a lot of weapons in the loot pool that I feel like if somebody was trying to use a combat shotgun, it kind of beat it at its own playstyle somewhat. And then you have a real shotgun for actual close range fights. I would like to see him get in this car over here and just leave, but We will see. Did he take this wingsuit? It's better off than the minis. Okay, he takes the pump. I think that's going to benefit him a lot. He's going to go single mobility, though. I don't think that's really necessary. Like, the double heals, I don't think is necessary. But we'll see. Please take the car and leave. Please. Like, having the bunkers instead of this big pot or extra shockwaves or the wingsuit, I think would be a lot better. He's going to fizz up. And then where does he go? There was fighting that happened in this direction. He's running. His own did. Didn't really do much. But there was a fight happening down there earlier. So he's just like sprinting around out here. Was there a guy there? And the reason why having the car would have been really nice, you can use this pad too. But he could get here much faster and not use stamina. Like running around like this, not only do you run the risk of somebody just engaging on you and bad timing and getting a good opening on you, but that's even worse if it happens to be a time where you have no stamina because you're sprint jumping around everywhere. Cars do go down pretty quick. I feel like with the Flex SMG, the Scar, and even the Hollow SMG, like you can melt cars incredibly fast. Like they're not just like tanks, but it's still safer. Like you see that there. If that player was walking around rather than using the car, they maybe get beamed. There was a player wingsuiting behind him too. The player he's chasing here just got in the car that he left earlier, and they're just leaving. This is an AI. I'm pretty sure there was somebody wingsuiting behind him though, as he shockwaved away. Yeah, now they landed up here. This is a very bad fight. The person up on top has significantly better cover than the Renegade Raider we're spectating. And I'm sure a lot of people would have this fight happen and be blaming the bloom on the Scar, but that was just played very badly. Like, if you're the Renegade Raider there, you need to not have that fight. Like, as soon as it starts, and I'm someone who wants to play aggressive, I want to get in a lot of fights. But as soon as it starts like that, and it's just terrible situation for you, this player has a head glitch on the roof, and you're just kind of standing out in the open there. You have some cover, but the angle this player had, they could just beam him. You need to either just quickly get away or back up, maybe get on this roof here, or just push them. And jumping on somebody with no early tags and just taking that 50-50 is not the greatest play ever, but it is much better than just standing out in the open and getting fried. And so that's, I think, a very important skill to have in this game, is just identifying if a fight is good or bad for you and then reacting immediately. Either resetting and getting away or not engaging in the fight, or just pushing them to not have the bad fight. But either way, just standing in a terrible situation is not great. Only hits 30 here. They get out. They're going to peek from the back, I would think. I would want to keep getting damage on this player. He wants to snipe them. But I want to keep, like, getting damage on... Oh, nice. That's a good shot. He doesn't have any shockwaves to push, though. He can, like, kind of force him to get in the car. And then this car is weak enough that he can maybe blow it up. And they hit him. This is very surprising. He blew the car up, but unfortunately his MK needs to be loaded, and so he's not able to, like, blow it up sooner and force the explosion on that guy. That is, like, incredibly unfortunate, and that, I feel like, shows why they're going to go to the gas station and heal up. I think you just let this kill go if you're this person and go elsewhere and find more loot. But, I forget what I was going to say. Shoot. Oh, that shows why shockwaves are so important. Because if he had shockwaves, he could have shockwaved onto them after hitting that snipe and gotten good damage. Like, taking advantage of the damage they got. But instead, he has to, like, walk up there because he doesn't have any shocks. And in that instance, it allows the player with the car and right shoulder peak to hit 2 shots on him, I think, with the hunting rifle, and then completely turn that fight. I think if they just, like, both committed to the fight fully, the player we're spectating would have lost. After hitting the snipe, if he just started spraying the car, that might have worked out better for him too. That's what I was trying to say, is that if he just keeps getting damage on the car, then the player behind it is going to be, like, forced into, like, a bad situation. But the car was healthy enough to where the person using it as cover was able to use it to escape as well. But if he hit the snipe and then just started, like, pressuring the car more, I think the person would have got in and out of panic. He's going to land on those with duels. I think he's automatically at an HP disadvantage because this person went to the gas station to heal. But we will see. They're just using shocks. 100 damage on the MK. That's good. You want to make this shotgun fight now. Jump on them. You don't want to let him turn it again. I think he was just a little too slow to jump on them. And then this person emoted and got him cleaned up. But yeah, like the way, I don't know the name of that bird skin, but the way the fight had previously played out, that guy had already kind of turned to fight on you, you know? And he got good damage. He got a good opening again. He wasn't the healthiest. And I think you just want to immediately kind of push that and get them out of the game when you have the mythic duels. Like, he has the best possible weapon for making that happen, but he still wanted to like kind of lean on the MK. And I think that allowed it to get turned. And the guy had the mythic flex SMG. I think that's also why he got melted. Like, that gun is so good. I'm surprised this lady didn't take it. I don't know if she didn't see it. But as I said earlier, I think it's just better at close range than the Scar, and also kind of better at what the Scar does than the Scar. There's a Fizz under him. That would be nice to have. I don't know if he just wants no heals at all. This is like, it's something I've talked about a good amount in these videos, but it's a playstyle that can work, but it's also very risky. It just is very fragile in the sense that if anything goes wrong, it can be hard to regain. The player on him, but I think they're an AI. They're like on the roof. They drop down. He's just like trying to play right shoulder peek and have them push into him. But yeah, just the way their movement sounded initially, I thought they were an AI. But the Fizz is like kind of like a best of both worlds in terms of being movement and heals. And so like I think ditching the wingsuit for that would be really good. Having the bunkers is probably going to be pretty helpful for this zone, but also having this very fragile setup I think is going to be pretty rough for this zone. Because if you guys have played these rectangle zones, as I talked about earlier on in the video, they can get pretty chaotic and just like kind of very chain third party situations kind of happening over and over again. And with limited heals, it's going to be tough to address that. If something goes bad, it might just be GG's. He's just going to chill in this bush for now, which I think kind of makes sense. It's unfortunate for the video, but this zone is really large for the amount of people that are left alive. So just like running around and trying to find somebody, probably you're not even going to find anybody that way because the zone is so large relative to the amount of people left. And again, if you ever get caught off guard, it's going to be bad for you. And so just kind of chilling out for this point in the game and seeing where zone goes, I think does make sense. I think with what we've seen from this player thus far, I think when zone actually does close, they'll probably end up moving to somewhere. I think they're just waiting on zone. Or waiting on a situation where if he hears fighting happen, he can like maybe wingsuit over there or shockwave over there. But the wingsuit would be ideal. The zone pulled far. Went right into the middle too. That's surprising. But a lot of these zones in the rectangles or the squares, I feel like they get just like weird. Like every Fortnite zone has a chance to just like be very open and weird. But I feel like these ones do it a lot. I don't know if there's really anywhere that's ideal to be. I guess here. But that's why I was saying him having the bunkers is really good. Like bunkers are always going to be helpful. But I feel like they get more useful when the zone is just weird and there's not much good area to be. And I feel like that happens more frequently with the rectangle zones. So having these bunkers may end up winning this player the game. And then the one after this, or maybe the two after this, are both like pretty small. And again, like you might end up in a situation where there's just like a zone of no man's land. And then the bunkers would be good. He has this bush, which is helpful, but you got to be mindful of trusting bushes too much because the lock-on AR exists. If somebody was up on that like waterfall to his left, they could just start beaming him with the lock-on. The player over there that just broke the slurp truck. I don't think he's going to push it. The 1v1v1, the zone is rather large, or sorry, it's about to be pretty small. And so if he starts fighting, it's probably guaranteed third party. And he doesn't really have any information on that player that got the slurp truck. He'd have to use like 2 or 3 shockwaves just to get there, or his wingsuit. Now it's a 1v1. So now he's like maybe more inclined to push. We know the guy is somewhere over here. Because even if the one who got the slurp truck didn't just get that kill, like if they're the one that died, the enemy is probably somewhat over there. So I would be like hard looking at this area because we know he should be somewhere over there. Actually, he's not. He's right there. Okay. Now we know where he is, which is huge in a 1v1 like this. Information is everything. Unfortunately, the Scar is not really going to be that great at this range, even with the, you know, improved accuracy. He could definitely hit some shots, but I doubt he just 250 to 0. It's this guy. Zone pulled into a weird spot and it pulled far. Oh, he got sniped. And this, see, no heals. He got sniped. What does he do now? And that's why I think fighting that fight was bad, because you're never going to 250 to 0 that guy like that. But the chance that something goes wrong can negatively impact you. I didn't even think about the hunting rifle. Oh, there's a big pot here. He's going to go get it. That's good. But yeah, just having those useless long-range fights that like clearly aren't going to go anywhere, especially with these third-person guns, I think is not good. Even the Enforcer. Like, the Enforcer would be much better there than the Scar. But you're not going to 250 to 0 that person unless they're like just not aware that they're playing Fortnite. And that is why I just try not to engage in those. He can just get ahead of zone here and bunker. Maybe wingsuit up to the hill if he wanted, but he could just bunker on this roof as well and just wait for the enemy to show themselves. And he has 4 bunkers right now and it's a 1v1, so I don't think you need to be like very worried about wasting it. They're behind a tree looking at him right now with the hunting rifle. That's what I was about to say though. Like, one of the few ways it's losable for this Catwoman is if she gets sniped. So just be greedy, invest the bunker right now, create a position of advantage for yourself. And he could have been like right here shooting them with the Scar. But unfortunately he gets tagged with the sniper again. He has no heals. And I think just being greedy with the bunkers for some reason might cost this player. It's more damage on them, gets them off of him. This lady's kind of pushing this somewhat weirdly. I think they're going to go for another snipe with the hunting rifle. We'll see if this works out. I think just bunkering there again and just playing the fight would be good for him. Like, he's weak, but like once he got his overshield back, he wasn't that weak, you know? And he does have mythic gold. This is bad. Don't do this. Again, the one way he loses this game, I feel like, is if that guy snipes him. Right now, everything is good for him. All he needs to do is waste that enemy's time, and he gets sniped. And then that's game over. But what he needed to do there was just waste time. Because you see when zone pulls, it's going to be much better for the person that was on this mountain than this player here. And so all he needs to do is just kind of waste time, not let this person move in for free. You know, throw some jiggle peeks in there, shoot your gun when you can. But you're shooting and you're putting out pressure just to waste the enemy's time and not just allow them to move into zone for free. He stuck around and peeked for too long because I think he was actually trying to get damage on those peaks. And then it resulted in him throwing the game. And I think the Catwoman we were spectating was probably the better player there. But with one-shot headshots in the game again, you need to be mindful of it. And I think I called it out a few times where, like, the only way this person was going to win the game was with the sniper. And the Catwoman just kept playing in ways that made the sniper relevant when they really didn't need to. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.